2026 Annual Budget Town Meeting to order. As a reminder, please hold your card up when voting. Can everybody hear me okay? If you have a question, please address the moderator and begin by introducing yourself. The first article is to choose a moderator to preside over said meeting. Do I hear a nomination for the moderator?
Nominate Bill Mary.
Do I have a motion that nominations cease?
Second.
Motions have been made and seconded that nominations cease. I now need to have 3 written ballots cast for the nominated moderator. I declare voting is closed. We have 3 votes for Joel Mary. I ask that our moderator come forward to be sworn in. And if you could repeat after me. I, Joel Mary, do swear and affirm
I, Joel Murray, do swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and this state,
so long as I shall continue a citizen thereof.
so long as I continue a citizen thereof.
I, Joel Mary, do swear and affirm
I, Joel Murray, do swear and affirm
that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my abilities
that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my abilities
the duties incumbent on me as moderator
the duties incumbent upon me as moderator
for the May 4th, 2026 budgetary town meeting,
for the May 4th, 2026 budgetary town meeting,
according to the Constitution and laws of the United States.
according to the Constitution and law of the United States and the state of New York.
Thank you. You just need a signature.
Thank you, Rebecca. Everybody hear me all right? Great. At this time, I would ask that you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would ask Selectman Keith Hines to come forward for a special presentation.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Keith Hines, Select Board Chair, and one of my distinct privileges serving as the chair is the presentation of the Spirit of America Foundation Award. Hundreds of municipalities across Maine recognize that volunteer, and then they are celebrated a county-wide ceremony in the following year. Prior recipients, West Bath Fire Department, Dave Hennessy, are there others in the room who have, please stand for acknowledgement. The 2026 Spirit of America Foundation Award. For 40 years of continued exceptional volunteer service and dedication to the town of West Bath, we are very appreciative of your historic knowledge, and it has come to my attention that of late you have prepared 140 historical records of local Maine homes. This year's award is presented on behalf of the West Bath Select Board to Carrie Nelson.
I'll get it.
Someone's alarm is going off. I'll give you a moment to silence that, just for the benefit of those in the audience tonight. It is a great honor to be here, to be the moderator for this 2026 West Bath Annual Town Meeting. I appreciate your support. Before we move into the articles, it is customary that we accept a motion to allow non-voters or non-residents of our community that may speak have the floor. Under the rules, they wouldn't otherwise be able to speak. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to allow Julie House, Town Administrator, Emily Thompson, School Superintendent Principal, and are there any others that wish to speak, non-residents, non-voters?
I would add Leslie Dollinger, Director of Patrick.
Leslie Dollinger. You want to speak?
In case she has a question.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Rebecca? Okay, thank you. Are there any other names? Could I have a motion, please?
Second.
I have a second, a motion to allow Julie House, Emily Thompson, Leslie Dollinger, Rebecca Hartley. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, let's get to tonight's business. I would entertain a motion to consider to vote on Articles 2 through 15 as a group, unless a voter requests for more specific articles be set aside for individual consideration. We have a first, we have a second. Is there any comment? I see none. All those in favor? Signify by holding your card. Those opposed? I see none. Someplace my gavel is flying around here. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Having taken care of that, we move on to Article 16. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of $439,877 for wages and stipends. I will, if it's okay, I will forego reading the individual lines. They're in the article, in the written document.
So moved.
But first, I have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 16 as presented? Opposed? Motion carries. Article 17, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $189,016 for insurance and benefits. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by voting your card. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 18, to see if the town will raise and appropriate $179,485 for the town administration expenses.
So moved.
We have a motion,
So moved. Second.
we have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by holding your card up, please. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 19, to to see if the town will vote to appropriate all dog licensing fees and penalties collected during fiscal year 2026-2027, with the exception of the recording fee that must be retained by the municipal clerk pursuant to state law, as additional payments to the animal control officer for services rendered to the town.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 20, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $15,000 for legal fees. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Article 21, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $2,000 for general assistance.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Under Public Works Department, Article 22, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $830,500 for public works.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? I see none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Article 24, to see if the town will vote to transfer all remaining but unexpended funds at the end of fiscal year 2025-2026 from the Public Works Department to Public Works Department Capital Fund for future capital expenditures. We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
How much?
I hear none. All those in favor signify by holding your card. Any opposed? None? Motion carries. Article 23, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $16,600 for sanitation.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Under Fire Department, Article 25, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $271,507 for protection. Per diem of $118,299 is now included with this article, with Article 16. So that's a subtraction from last year.
So moved.
Motion, a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Article 26, to see if the town will vote to transfer all remaining but unexpended funds at the end of fiscal year 2025-2026 from the Fire Department operations to the Fire Department Capital Fund. Motion? I have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Community agencies and organizations, Article 27, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the following as donations to the community agencies.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Yes, I recognize the...
My name is Alexandra.
Would you stand, please?
I would like to request, maybe not this year, but at some point that the city of West Bath consider donations to the Mid-Coast Youth Center. I think that would also be an appropriate use of town funds.
Thank you.
We do have a petition process that organizations can follow through with some of those.
So that would be something I would let the state park know to discuss that. Thank you.
Any other comments? Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by holding your card. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 28, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $49,872 for library funding.
Second.
Have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? Selectman Hines.
It was the intent of the select board that this be dedicated to the patent-free library. So I would like to amend Article 28 to state patent-free before the word library.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second to add patent-free in front of the library. So the amended motion would read, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $49,872 for the patent-free library funding. Any comment? Any questions? We need to vote on the amendment. The amendment is to add patent-free in front of the word library. All those in favor signify by holding your pen. Any opposed? I see one. Motion carries. Now, the amendment has passed. The article shall read, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $49,872 for patent-free library funding. That motion was seconded, and it was made and seconded. Is there any discussion? I see none. All those in favor signify by raising your card. Opposed? So noted. Motion carries. Article 29, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $3,000 for planning board stipends. A motion? We have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Article 31, show an ordinance entitled 2026 Amendments to the Town of West Bath Land Use Ordinance be amended. Proposed changes can be found on the website or printed on request. I skipped 30, because I put a check mark by 30 instead of 29. That's my bad. Let's back up one. Article 30, to see if the town will, under waterways and harbors, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $6,950 for harbors and waterways. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Article 31. Show an ordinance entitled 2026 Amendments to the Town of West Bath Land Use Ordinance be amended. Proposed changes can be found on the website or printed on request. We have a motion, we have a second. We comment?
I'm having a hard time voting on amendments that I've got to go look at the website for.
Could you stand up, sir? Good.
I'm having a hard time voting on amendments that I have to go to the website for. I don't have the web in my pocket with me. And then I have to go print it.
There is a summary over on the table on the bill. If there's somebody here from the planning board that would like to speak to that.
There's a bunch of, everything's written over there in the handout.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the changes are, or why we need to vote and why we're not discussing it. What are we voting on? Amendments at the website? I mean, I'm happy to vote for it, but why are we voting for it? There must have been a need or there must have been a deficiency that we wanted to address. I'm just curious what that is.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone from the planning board that would like to address that?
Jerry Mitchell, planning board member.
Thank you, Jerry.
So the town hired a consultant probably about a year or two ago, and we worked through all the ordinances, cleaned up a lot of the language, legal language, and we changed a lot of the stuff to mimic Chapter 1000, main DEP, so it's a little bit clearer for everybody to understand. Jay Paris, I don't know if everybody remembers Jay Paris, he was a great guy, he was on the planning board for about 40 years, and did a great job, and some of the stuff was a little bit hard for us to interpret. So we went through and cleaned up a lot of that. And all the changes are listed up in the pamphlet over there. If anybody has any questions? And there's been multiple public hearings and multiple meetings on all this.
Thank you.
I just remember a couple of years ago where the planning board intended to implement changes, and at that time it had to do with building things like fish shacks inside the 75-foot restriction to the shoreline and all that, and it was routine. And is there anything like that, Jerry?
Yes, there is.
Well, then I would strongly oppose that, or I'll tell you what, I move that we table this.
Well, we have a motion on the, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Well, Jerry, you haven't described that in your last remarks. I'm just curious what that is, because we've got a town meeting here in May, and that is precluding a lot of our summer residents from attending, who are residents, but they happen to be away in Florida.
We're going to address that, Jerry?
Yeah, so Mike, I think your best bet would be to get that pamphlet and read through that pamphlet with all the different changes. There's a ton of different changes there. You need a copy of it.
Well, I know it's been pretty brief, but has everybody had an opportunity to attend the briefs? But could you summarize those?
You want me to
Just
summarize all the
summarize
changes,
this.
or what's that, Mike? I couldn't hear you.
Can you summarize what we're voting on?
Yep, so if everybody wants to follow along on the, one of the first ones is, number one, we changed the definition of non-conformance. Number two, we spoke about moving the zoning in the urban development park. Three, we cleaned up some language in the subdivision review process. That's 4 and 5. 6, non-conformance. I think everybody can read these really. 8, we talked about the shoreline zone.
Is there anything in there that talks about construction inside the previously designated 75-foot limit to the shoreline?
Yes.
Can you brief that thoroughly so we understand?
Yeah, let me just find it, Mike, I gotta find it here. 25. 25. Water dependent structures will have no minimum setback from the water except for resource protection and stream protection. All other structures will be a minimum of 75 feet from the normal high water line or 100 feet from great ponds.
Okay, what's a water dependent structure? Is that like a dock?
No, I don't think a dock would qualify as that. It'd be more so, the dock is in the water, right? So this would be a structure that is land-based and is water dependent, like for oyster farmers, clammers, or lobstermen.
And how do you define an oyster farmer, clammer, or lobsterman?
Through licensure. If you have a license to do so.
I can get a license, but I'm not an
I think you should
oysterman.
get one then,
I think that's a scam for people to put structures on the shorefront. I feel strongly about that. You can vote in favor of this, just blindly raising your hand. If somebody comes in here and says they're a fisherman or a lobsterman or an oysterman, and I fully support all of them, but I don't support somebody who says they're a lobsterman and they earn half of their living lobstering. There ought to be, that's why I asked for a definition of a lobsterman. Other towns define lobsterman something more than just somebody who holds a 5-trap recreational license, which we can all do. I believe it was Harpswell or Phippsburg, or I don't know who or where it was, when I researched this years ago, 5 years ago or so, that they defined the term fisherman or lobsterman who would be applying for such a benefit here as someone who earned over half their income in that area. As opposed to somebody just coming up here and say, hey, I have 5 traps, I want to put a building up, I want to call it support to my fishing project right here on the shoreline.
That's not true.
He just said lobster license, he did not say commercial license.
Thank you, sir.
Change the verbiage to commercial lobstermen.
Are there other comments? Yes, ma'am, I recognize it.
Change the verbiage to commercial lobstermen. Because, I mean, if you think about the amount of commercial lobstermen that you have in West Bath, I being one, and my husband, there are several commercial fishing lobstermen. So change it to that it is a commercial, you have to carry a state or federal commercial lobster license.
That would be a change that would have to be incorporated into the land use ordinance. We are voting tonight on,
At town meeting, when the warrant article involves an ordinance, our only option is to vote up or vote
Down.
down. We cannot amend it from the.
right, there's a process within the committee
So
to
you
change
go have to
the.
loophole in there, so if you have a 5-trap limit.
What I'm saying,
That's what
ma'am,
he's asking. He's asking,
Right.
did you leave a loophole? It's a simple yes or no. Did you leave a loophole for somebody that has a pleasure license of a 5-trap limit, or if it is a commercial license? That's all he's asking.
The intent was for commercial lobstermen, oyster farmers, anybody that makes a living on the water.
Right.
You know, somebody puts docks in, if they have it's not just limited to like anything like that.
the chair would recognize, the moderator would recognize the lady over here to my right.
Thank you. So I would say that the way that this is currently written does not limit this to, I mean, it limits it to commercial, because the definition under chapter 1000, which is the state's shoreline zoning, says that a functionally water-dependent use is a use that must necessitate a waterfront location, such in the case of commercial fishing, maritime industries, or boat repair. And the location limitation, which is why there is no setback, says that the activity cannot reasonably exist elsewhere, requiring direct access to or placement in the water. So reading these changes and understanding that chapter 1000 is the overlying jurisdiction, it is covered within the way this is written, and I would leave it as is.
Could I just ask, have you state your name, please?
Oh, sorry, Emily Ratty.
Thank you, Emily. I think we can make an exception to allow the senator to speak.
Do you want to vote, or I think I'm fine with the vote if that's necessary. But
Or do you have anything to add other than what she,
the
Emily?
only thing I would add is I believe that what's referenced in number 25, section 8, is actually floating structures. They're not shoreline-based structures, they're floating structures that oystermen, lobstermen, and commercial fishermen might use. So it doesn't have to do with shoreline, but in fact, as a floating structure that many fishermen use. Am I correct? No, it's
No.
not referring to that. Okay.
The dock permit is something different.
Okay, so you're talking about something that sticks out from the shore into the water, and that would be governed by everything the lady just said.
Thank you.
Thank you. Apologies for interrupting.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. Yes, Mike.
Thank you, sir, for addressing me. The words make a big difference in this, so I think we should pay attention to the words here. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes.
Is it possible just to pull out the line, that one line item if there's a concern, and pass everything else?
No,
You cannot.
not really.
It's a straight up or down on an ordinance. That is actually state statute, as required by law. Any other comments? Seeing none, we have a motion to accept the ordinance as proposed in Article 31. All those in favor signify by raising your card. Those opposed? The motion carries. Long-term capital improvements, Article 32. To see if the town will vote to transfer up to $200,000 from the long-term capital improvement fund reserve account in order to replace the school fence and/or cover town expenses from July to August if needed. We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Article 33, to see if the town will vote to give all money received from the state of Maine for snowmobile registrations to the Over the Hill ATV Club.
So moved.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion? Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Jed Matt Donald. I'm the Vice President of Over the Hill Riders. I just hope you support the money for that. We just became a 501c3 organization, and we try to help the community.
We thank you for your service. Any other comments or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Article 34, to see if the town will vote to adopt the resolution in order regarding a portion of the boundary between the town of West Bath and the city of Bath. A copy of the order is attached to the warrant. There's also documents over on the table. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Sir,
Comments?
would you please stand and state your name, please?
Michael Hennessy.
Yes, Mike.
For most of you, this is a 2-week-old question. For me, it started somewhere around 2014, 2015, when I got from the state archives, I got the actual definitions of where the town line should be. What you see before you is a plan that is now 3 years old. It was originally started by the Board of Selectmen with a proper effort to promulgate the border between Bath and West Bath. It has been lost for a long time. As part of that process, it was agreed to jointly hire sightlines to define the original boundary. That is not what has happened. This is a new boundary. It is wholly in favor of Bath. It is not at all any benefit to West Bath whatsoever. If you will look at page 3, you will see a storage building where it is West Bath's line includes the bulk of the building. If you look at the new line, you will see that the bulk of the building is not in West Bath. That building is valued by Bath currently at $3,600,000, formerly a little over $4 million in taxable debt. The difference, if you look at the notes on page 1, you will see that the surveyor, Bruce, who I have spoken to 40 times about this.
I think, just so everyone's looking for the pages, he's talking about the map up on the wall,
So-
it's not on your handout.
So he's referring to the chats on the wall, on the board up here.
In there, he states that the 1910, I believe, is the best information available. 3 years ago, I would have agreed. I have done some more digging. So has Brenda Cummings of the Bath Assessor, who I have been working with since 2014, 2015, to locate the correct location. There is a survey for Robichaud's property that nails down specifically where the correct middle of the stream, where the bridge crosses Seine on the old farm road. That is not listed as a reference in that plan. It was not considered in that plan. The plan now says that the proper location of the middle of the stream is a drill hole in the abutment of the bridge. You want to go wet a line to go fishing in the middle of a drill hole in the bridge and think you're going to get wet? It's not the middle of the stream. It is a clear error. It is an error that has existed for wind farm plans for 20+ years, but it is not the correct location. There is no reason to not use the correct location from 1844. The middle of the stream is not a drill hole in the bridge abutment. I don't care how you call it, that's not a fact. If you go to the north end, you will see that in essence, they have selected the 1920 survey of a proposed relocation of the road. That is not actually how they moved it, but that's a relatively minor point. That was, it goes to the water line as it existed in 1910. In 1844, it was a narrow stream. It is now a flooded pond. It was used as an ice pond. Whiskey Creek was dammed and used as the mill, which flooded it. The concept that we will today select the current water level as being what existed in 1844 has no rational basis. The other problem with that new line is that it changes the side of the road to be the side of the road right of way. What that does as a practical effect, it moves all of the lots from that corner to New Meadows River into 2 lots. Half, one tax bill from Bath and one tax bill from West Bath for all of those landmarks. It's unnecessary. It makes no sense. This plan is 3 years old. It is obsolete. There is an 1890 typographical map, which clearly shows a narrow stream was what the West Branch was in 1844. Talking to Brenda, the 1890 map was actually based on earlier 1860 surveys. We have a narrow stream. There is another 1894 topo map, which shows the Bath Trolley running right down that stream bed and out through. What sits on that today is you look at the correct map, which is map 1. Over there, you will see that there is a house in a garage. Does anybody here believe you can build a house and a garage on top of a trolley track without a substantial amount of landfill? That landfill buried the original stream. There may be a tiny sliver that remains. When I talked to Bruce Martinson, the surveyor, he was very clear that he was hired to find the original location. He stated to me he wanted to wait till the pond froze so he could drill holes and sound out to see if he could find the original stream. That is not what would happen. It was revised to let's make a new line. It was not done at any time by a town of West Bath action. I think it is telling that the email that was sent out with this map some 3 years ago was directed to CC to West Bath. It begins, "Dear Mark," it's not "Dear Mark and Christine." I am highly dubious that there is any benefit to West Bath with this configuration. I don't have a big problem with the concept. People disagree with me and state, but I have a very big problem with that. I'm quite willing to spend a lot of time.
All right, we limit comments to the,
Yes.
to the article.
The comment is, yes, so what happens if we accept this? We lose $4 million in taxable property in one spot. And what happens is we have more problems on both ends of the line. We have a select board that is highly competent, intelligent people. They can read maps. It does not take an attorney to read a map.
We'll see if someone from the select board would answer your question. But the moderator would like to recognize. Any other comments?
Yeah, I was just, is there someone here who can talk about the generation of the map?
Is there anyone that can talk about the generation of the map?
It's my understanding, and this predates this existing board, none of us were here in 1842, that a joint effort between the city of Bath and the town of West Bath, each paid $5,000, by the way, to a surveyor to determine this line. Our attorneys have reviewed it, the city of Bath's attorneys have reviewed it, our town administrator has reviewed it, the Bath city manager has reviewed it, and that's the proposal we have here tonight. I would also point out that we are not losing a $4 million piece of property that is currently in the city of Bath today. Could we gain it if we shifted, as Mike has suggested? Yes, that is possible. Our attorney is recommending the proposal that's before us tonight.
Thank you.
And all of those properties that will be split are split today.
That's not true. That's simply not.
Are there other comments?
Madeline Hennessy. What concerns me, I was on the board that started this mess. What concerns me at this point is that the legislature, which would have to endorse this, doesn't meet anymore until next year. And what is the problem with waiting to see if somebody goes with a fish finder through the stream to see if they can identify where that original boundary marker was? Because it's not on the bridge. It would make more sense, since we can't do the final step until the legislature meets again, to wait, get the survey done. Sorry, it has to cost more money, but it seems to me it would make more sense to have it righter. And I agree with the board, it would be lovely to have this done, but let's make sure it's done right.
Anybody want to?
As a question to the board, this new proposal to change the line is based on a property map, a tax property map?
It's my understanding that it's based on a survey. Yes, it does happen to be a line with Bath's property map. I do not believe that they took that property map and said, this is our line.
And how much land is in question?
I don't know.
So if we don't know how much land is involved, should we wait and find out how much land is involved?
I'm happy to follow the direction of the
The line as proposed is not the Bath tax map line. The Bath tax map line, as sight lines itself, I believe it was 2007, drew it on a wind farm plan, is closer to West Bath's line than it is to the current line that is being proposed. The Bath tax maps are not surveys right. The Bath line has moved. Over the time that I have looked at it, it has consistently moved west. There is not one factual point at all, not one fact that says that there's any reason to move that line to the location that exists. Other than as stated in that survey, I can't find anything better than the 1910 water line. Well, the 1910 water line is not a narrow stream. That is simply common sense, simply a fact.
Thank you. The moderator would recognize.
What is the financial tax change to town of West Bath on either side of this equation? If we go with the one line versus the other, what are we at risk of losing from taxes versus Bath gaining?
We don't have a specific number for you, Suzanne. Based on Julie's experience, she's saying it wouldn't be a significant impact on it. Yes, picking up a $4 million piece of property that we don't own would be a positive.
It's a $4 million piece of property that, to the largest extent, we have as much, if not more, justification for it being in West Bath, including Sightline's own previous surveys that show the line is, in fact, to the east of the majority of that building, if not all of it. I'm not talking, that is Sightline's work before this run. Those are facts. There are multiple lines. There is no specific information that says this line is good, other than in 1910, after multiple dams, that's where the water line was.
Thank you, Mike. Are there others that would want to be heard on this? Okay, we have.
Just a quick question, how large a piece of land? Is this a couple acres, or that's controversial?
I'm going to let Mike know that answer better than that.
Mike, go ahead.
It is a pie-shaped piece that is something in the neighborhood of 1.4 miles long.
About 40 feet, would you say, at the widest?
The difference with this line is something probably in the neighborhood of 60 feet. The difference
At the widest?
At the north end, yes.
Any other comments? We have a motion on the floor to accept, Article 34. All those in favor, signify by raising your card. All those opposed? Moderator declares that those in opposition prevail. Motion fails. West Bath School.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we do Article 35 to 45 in a group as we've done in the past year.
We have a second. Thank you, Steve. Good to see you. Is there any discussion, any comments? The motion is to take up Articles 35 to Article 45 concerning the West Bath School in a single motion. It was moved and seconded. Is there any comment? Seeing none, I have just repeated what the motion is. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Those opposed? Motion carries. Those articles are all accepted. Article 46, revenues. To see what sum the town will appropriate for the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funded Act, and to see what sum the town will raise and assess as a municipality's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in accordance with the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20A, Section 15688. The School Board of Directors recommends a total appropriation of $3,287,167.52. The School Board of Directors recommends total raise $2,849,607.52.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Those opposed? Motion carries. Article 47 requires a written ballot. To see what sum the town will raise and appropriate in additional local funds, the School Board of Directors recommends $1,905,579.59, which exceeds the state Essential Programs and Services allocation model by the School Board of Directors recommends $1,855,579.59 as required to fund the budget recommended by the School Board of Directors. Furthermore, the School Board of Directors recommends $1,905,579.59 for additional local funds and gives the following reasons for exceeding the school essential programs and services funding model by $1,855,579.59. The additional local funds represent local costs to support school budget programs and services that are not included in the state's funding model, including costs for transportation and special education services. State mandated explanation. The additional local funds are those locally raised funds over and above the town's local contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funded Act, that will help to achieve the budget for additional programs.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Again, this requires a written ballot. If you would mark your ballot and then deposit it in the box over there, we will pause the town meeting while you vote.
Swear that I did not.
Maybe not mine.
Mine's going, oh, mine's going.
Over the middle line.
While they come to votes, we'll move on. Article 48, summary total of operating budgets. To see what sum the town will authorize the school board of directors to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027 from the school administrative unit's contribution to the total cost of funding public education for pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act. Local funds for non-state funded school construction debt service. Additional local funds for school purposes under the Maine Revised Statute Title 20A, Section 15690. Undesignated fund balances, tuition receipts, state subsidy, and other receipts for the support of schools. The School Board of Directors recommends $5,192,742.11. Do I need to read the explanation?
So move the item.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Comments?
Yeah, there's two different numbers. One is 192 and the other 7.
There is a $5 difference there.
$5 difference. 747.
I am told it's the 747 as in the lower part of the page is the correct number.
So I move to amend the recommended amount by $5. To $5,192,747.11.
And we have a second. On the motion to amend, is there any discussion? On the motion to amend to add $5 to the total. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed? That amendment carries. Now we vote on the motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amended motion, raise your card. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 49, cost center transfers. Shall the school board of directors be authorized to transfer amounts exceeding 5% of the total appropriation for any cost center to another cost center or among other cost centers for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, provided that the transfers shall not be permitted to increase the authorized total school budget. The school board of directors recommends a yes vote on this. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Aid for other programs, Article 50. In addition to the amount of Article 48, shall the school board of directors be authorized to accept and expend any state, federal, or other grants, aid, or receipts during the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027 for school purposes, provided that such grants, aid, and receipts do not require the expenditure of other local funds not previously appropriated. The school board of directors recommends a yes vote. We have a motion? We have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Additional state subsidies. Article 51. In the event that the town receives more state education subsidy than the amount included in its budget, shall the school board of directors be authorized to use all or part of the additional state subsidy to increase expenditures for school purposes in cost center categories approved by the school board of directors, increase the allocation of finances in a reserve fund approved by the school board of directors, and/or decrease the local cost share expectation as defined in Title 20A, Section 15671, subsection A, paragraph 1B, for local property taxpayers for funding public education as approved by the school board of directors. That's a question. The school board of directors recommends a yes vote on that. We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? I see none. Therefore, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed? That motion carries. Do we have the results of the written ballot? Not quite. Stand by.
Is there time for a question?
Yes, ma'am.
In all of this requested funding, I haven't seen any mention of funds proposed for auditing. Is that included in one of the categories?
Funds approved for auditing.
Is it under?
18, Article 18.
Article 18.
Where?
Article 18.
Article 18. Under administrative expenses. The tally of the votes are completed for Article 47. Article 47 on school funding. There were 86 votes cast, 74 yeas, 12 nays. The motion carries. We have a motion to adjourn. We have a second. No discussion on that. All those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Opposed? I declare this meeting closed. Thank you, Joe.
Exactly. Nope, exactly.